Hey guys, it's me, Ria. It's Ria on the Run expansion pack. As some of you might have known, I did a little message already this morning, and this is just like the expansion pack of it, the extended version. Because after I do a message and I go for a run, and the momentum is going, and then I can continue that dialogue with my higher self. I keep gaining greater expansion on the message that I just said, and I just feel really, really guided just to again hit on the part as you go through your portal. In my message this morning, I talked about how running was my conduit, my portal, my wormhole to the center of who I am, my connection. And even as you come to the center of who you are, even before you enter that portal and that connection, you will still have to cross a ring of fire. You know, I talked about the ring of fire, and those are those fears, doubts, moments of questioning God, questioning life, questioning yourself, or when those fears, doubts, senses of unworthiness even present themselves before you enter that ring of fire. And even running for me, I had to go through a ring of fire. I didn't have a typical runner's build. I'm short, stout, I was thicker. I even had people like comment once in a while, like, oh, good for you. We usually don't see people like you out running. And that made me feel really, really bad. But you know what? I still trucked on. I just kept still going forth because the feeling and the connection was so strong, I couldn't deny it. And I ran through all my pregnancies. I could have not have run during my pregnancy in fear of being embarrassed, but guess what? I did have those come to mind and those feelings, but you know, those were like a mini ring of fire. I ran with all my children to the end, almost to the end of the last trimester. Those were little rings of fire I had to go through. And then when I decided to start my second family in my later 30s, all those little rings of fire, doubts, am I too old? Is what the mass paradigm consciousness teach really true? So I had to keep trusting. Every ring of fire you go through, guys, builds a greater sense of trust in yourself. And when I wrote my book, I had to go through a ring of fire. I wasn't no intellect. I could hardly find the words to express what I had to feel. So the verbiage and the words and everything are fairly simple, but they really hit home. I went through a lot of fear. I went through a lot of doubt of presentation and years of working behind the scenes, doing these little messages that I gain in my runs, never, ever receiving affirmation, confirmation, validation from the outside world. I had to go through a ring of fire. Other than a few people, I had a few people that really, really did help me along my path and were like, just one little word helped me out a lot. And they were very, very beautiful. And I'll just say your names in case you guys ever watch that. But thank you, Leslie Bior. Thank you, Becky Johnson, Donna Little. Just a few little earth angels. So what I want to say is the more you're willing to go through your ring of fire, the more you keep stoking the fire. It's like that burn pit I had on the solstice. Keep burning it. Keep throwing in your doubts. Keep throwing all of those things, senses of unworthiness, things you got to go through. Throw them in that fire. Keep stoking it. And what does this fire do? It becomes bigger and bigger. And that big flame connects you to your own passion. The bigger the flame, the greater the illumination, guys. And the easier it is to continue through those little rings of fire, those little things, those little tests, those little things you got to go through to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop. So I'm just saying, keep trucking forth, guys, and never doubt yourself. And it's those rings of fire that make you who you are. It's like those fire walkers, those people that walk through the coals and they don't feel it. Eventually, guys, those rings of fire are non-existent. You don't even recognize them as that. You just go through it. They become one with you. And it just becomes a simultaneous expansion and illumination into the light and connecting to the sun of who you are. So embrace those rings of fire, keep stoking the fire, keep connecting to your passion, be strong in who you are. And if you guys haven't checked out Tender Loving Light's post. Oh my God, I love Kelly's card she posts. It's about the divine rebel. Be a divine rebel. Go against the flow. Stand for who you are. And the more and more and more you guys keep doing that, the stronger and stronger and more empowered you become. But it's not a false sense of power of brute force. It's a sense of power of your state of being, that being in the trust and love and light and illumination that you are. And this is what you guys are. The sun is the perfect reflection. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's the perfect reflection of who you are. You are love, you are light, you are beings. You've come to illuminate all that you are. Don't be afraid to step into the rings of fire, because they bring forth and they keep, and what they do is you stoke that fire. You know, when you got a hot fire and you keep pouring more on it, and that fire's stoked and it's big, it just burns off that excess even quicker. So actually, the more you go through the rings, the more you stoke that fire, the more you keep moving forward, the quicker all the stuff burns off you that you don't need. You go through the process even quicker, guys. You become empowered more and more and more and more, but it's empowerment and truth and light and love. That's where all true power is. It's your state of being, guys. Just needed to share that. I love you. And may you shine with all the light that you are.